In this video, we will bring it all together, manipulating the models and architectural example. If you'd like to follow along with this video, please open the file, bring it together manipulate the models architectural.dwg, located in the working files folder as discussed in the working with this dataset video. Let's bring it all together with a real-world example of manipulating different models. Let's move and rotate some of the architectural composite models to their correct location. First, let's go ahead and select these cabinets and move them in the correct location. We'll first pick this one here, and notice how there are no grips that appear on each of the individual components. This is because no history was recorded. So we can just use the standard move command to move this to the correct location. We'll just type M for move, and we'll go ahead and snap from this base point here, and we will acquire but don't click this point using O tracking, go down and type in 6 for 6 inches, and that's moved to the correct location. Now if we select this object here, notice how there are grips that appear because solid history was turned on. So let's change our gizmo to the move gizmo. We'll select over here, move gizmo, and what you can do is also simply hover and your mouse will then take on the gizmo location. We can now simply click over here to quickly move this model, and we'll go ahead and simply acquire this point here like we did previously, move straight down, 6, enter, press escape, and now that object is moved correctly. Let's say we got this window from the manufacturer, and we now want to move it to the correct location. We'll simply select it. Again, the gizmo goes to the 3D center of the entire object, but if you hover your mouse to the correct grip, it'll automatically put it there, and now you can simply left click to grab it, and let's go ahead and move it to the correct location. Now what we need to do is rotate this so that it fits in the window properly. So we can hover over here real quickly, and then right click and change it to the rotate gizmo. This is another way to quickly change your gizmo. Now what we want to do is right click and choose custom gizmo, because what we need to do is change the reference angle to the alignment of this window. We'll simply select this window here at this corner, snapping there, and we'll snap over here to define the x-axis, and we simply need to snap somewhere along this edge here to define the xy plane. Now we will simply select the red axes to rotate this properly. If you want to turn polar tracking on, that'll allow you to see kind of how this is rotating. Now all we need to do is simply snap to one of the faces of this wall, and it'll automatically align it there properly. Now we want to copy this to the other locations. We'll just use the regular copy command to copy it, and we'll go ahead and pick our base point over here, and in the copy command there's an array option. We'll go ahead and select it, and we want 4 placements of this window. So type 4 and then enter. And now all you have to do is simply snap to this location here, and it's copied 4 times. Pretty cool. Next, let's go ahead and rotate this cabinet to the correct location. If we select it, we notice that it is actually a block, and so we will now use just a regular move command to move it to the correct location first, and then we'll rotate it properly. So we'll go ahead and start the move command, select the object, we'll pick this point here because this is the location we want to move it about, and we want to move it from the mid between 2 points of this location here on the walls. So shift right click, mid between 2 points, we'll snap here first, and we'll snap here next, and now it's moved correctly. Now, with the rotation still underneath, let's go ahead and select the object. We still have the rotate gizmo active, which is great. Well, let's go ahead and right click on it and choose custom gizmo. We want to first put it at that same midpoint location right here. We'll define the x-axis as here, and going straight up, we'll define the xy that way. Now we'll simply pick the green axis to rotate it about that way, and we now want to snap to it at this endpoint, and it's rotated properly. Let's rotate the view to the top. As you can see, we're good to go. Lastly, let's say we wanted to copy this picture frame and this JPEG picture onto this wall here. We have a construction line that will help us to copy it on there. What we're going to first do is change our visual style to wireframe. And then we're going to use the 3D Align tool in the Modify panel to simply select the objects first, press Enter. Now we need to define the plane about which to align these objects. Now before we continue, we want to copy this. Notice in the command line window there's a copy option. We'll go ahead and click on it. Now we're going to go from the bottom up here, and our plane from the bottom will then be the other angle. So we'll go ahead and 3D midpoint snap there, 3D midpoint snap here, and make sure you grab the endpoint of the same exact plane from the 3D midpoint that you snapped to in the first place. Now we'll go ahead and use this existing line that we have to snap this way. We'll turn polar tracking on, and we want to go straight up, and the rotation that we want is at this point here, and then left click. Shift middle click to rotate your view this way, change your visual style back to realistic, and as you can see, we now have it copied and all the objects manipulated properly, and we're ready to plot our file.